Hello, my fellow odd ones. Welcome back. It's Thursday and time for your weekly weird distraction. If you're new here, I'm Ronda, and this is where I bake things and I talk about weird random stuff that I find funny or amusing. If that sounds right up your alley, then stay tuned. If you were here last week, I talked about a bunch of weird random stuff that supposedly doesn't exist, but actually exists. Either that or I'm an advanced being from the secret land of Narnia, aka Wyoming. Today, I'm going to be talking about secret societies and whether or not they have any relation to the Illuminati, which they probably don't. And I'll be making peanut butter cookies. Warning, the following video contains conspiracy theories, secret societies, death, war, religion, and as always, plenty of sarcasm. Content may not be suitable for all audiences, and viewer discretion is advised. Secret societies have been around throughout history, and they have flourished. I gotta open the butter. Some count the founding fathers, along with British royals, among them, stating that members, mostly men, have been asked to join groups like the Knights Templar, the Freemasons, the Bavarian Illuminati, Skull and Bones, and Bilderberg. Secret societies are part mystery and part legend, which is what people find so alluring about them. And conspiracy theories have surrounded secret societies since their formations, linking groups like the Illuminati to everything from the French Revolution to the assassination of JFK. So today, we're going to talk about the Knights Templar. These were warriors that were dedicated to protecting Christian pilgrims as they made their way to the Holy Land. After the Knights, after Christian armies actually took control of Jerusalem from Muslim control in 1099, people started to visit the Holy Land. But unfortunately, many of them were robbed and or killed on their journey as they crossed through Muslim-controlled areas. The order was founded by Dickinson, who was a French knight, and he created the Poor Fellow Soldiers of Christ and the Temple of Solomon, which became the Knights Templar. It was headquartered on the Temple Mount in Jerusalem. And members, quote, pledged to live a life of chastity, obedience, and poverty, abstaining from gambling, alcohol, and even swearing. Prayer was an essential part of daily life, and there was an expressed adoration for the Virgin Mary. The group was known for its code of conduct, which included no pointy shoes and no kissing your mothers. These rules were outlined in the Rule of the Templars and also included the style of dress that they had to wear, which was a white habit. Sorry, that was my oven. A white habit with a simple red cross on it, or the Cross of Lorraine. This is a double-barred cross, which also is featured in the coat of arms for the Dukes of Lorraine. And as the story goes, after Lorraine nobleman Godfrey de Bouillon became the king of Jerusalem after the First Crusade, the cross became the Cross of Jerusalem. Once the Templar arrived, they adopted it for themselves. The Cross of Lorraine is a symbol also used in the French resistance to Nazi rule during World War I, and some claim that you can actually see it in the Exxon and Nabisco logos, as well as stamped onto Oreo cookies. Oreo cookies. I wonder if I could make those. As the Knights grew in size, they established new chapters throughout Western Europe. And at the height of their influence, they boasted a sizable fleet of ships, owned the Mediterranean island of Cyprus, and served as a primary bank and lending institution to European monarchs. So they did lend money to kings, but some of them weren't very happy. The Knights were known more for their military might and moral lifestyle, and they became one of the most wealthy and powerful forces in Europe and set up a bank that actually allowed pilgrims to deposit money in their home countries and withdraw it in the Holy Land. Clips first, right? They reached a height of influence in 1139 when Pope Innocent II issued a papal bull exempting them from paying taxes and also decreeing that the only higher power that they had to answer to, or the only authority that they had to answer to, was the Pope. Around the 12th century, Muslim armies retook Jerusalem, thus turning the tides of the Crusades and forcing the Knights to relocate several times. The fall of Acre in 1291 marked the destruction of the remaining Crusader refuge in the Holy Land. European support started to wane against campaigns in the Holy Land, and many secular and religious leaders became increasingly critical of the wealth and power of the Knights. So, the Knights lost their foothold in the Muslim world around 1303 and withdrew to Paris, where they focused on their banking endeavors. And it was there that King Philippe, I say, on guard, please don't cut yourself. No more. I'm making cookies. Tastes good? Anyway, it was in Paris when King Philippe IV resolved to bring the order down. So, apparently, this was rumored because the Knights refused to give more money to an already indebted ruler. Told you that all kings were happy. Don't stick to it. So, he was really unhappy with the Knights. And how unhappy? Well, on October 13th, 1307, King Philippe IV had a group of knights arrested. They were then subsequently tortured until they gave false confessions of depravity false confessions of depravity. In 1309, dozens of the knights were burned at the stake in front of witnesses in the city of Paris. This is how you repay people that gave you money. You kill them so that what? You don't have to pay them back? I'm sure he was wildly popular, or greatly feared, or just a huge jerk. I'm kind of going for the last one. In 1312, with pressure from the French crown, Pope Clement V dissolved the order and redistributed their wealth. It is rumored that the knights guarded artifacts such as the Holy Grail, the Shroud of Turin, the Ark of the Covenant, and parts of the cross from the crucifixion of Christ. Today, the Catholic Church acknowledges that the persecution of the knights was unjustified, claiming that Pope Clement V was pressured by the secular rulers of the day to destroy the order. While most historians agree that the order was fully disbanded 700 years ago, there are people who believe that they went underground and are still in existence in some form, even now, like now, right now, this minute. Look around. Are they there? Sometime around the 18th century, so there were some groups, notably the Freemasons, who revived several of the medieval symbols of the order, along with their rituals and their traditions. You know, because secret societies got to keep it secret. Shh. There are currently several international organizations that are styled after the Knights Templar, which the public can actually join. And they have representatives around the globe, and their aim is to uphold the values and traditions of the original order. How noble. So, there are some theories that surround the Knights Templar, and some of them include they may have been involved in the September 11th attacks. So there's this conspiracy theorist, Eric Dubé, who authored The Atlantean Conspiracy. This goes into this multifaceted orchestration of societal control and talks about this convoluted numerical Templar 9/11 theory. It's probably calculus. He claims the date harks back to 1118, the year that the Templars were formed. Because 1 plus 1 plus 1 plus 8 equals 11. Yeah. All of this revolves around that date and the Statue of Liberty, which Mr. Dubé calls, quote, the Freemasonic Statue of Liberty. Apparently, the common theory is that the Freemasons are a spin-off of the Knights Templar. And allegedly, Lady Liberty has Freemason symbology and connections, making it the center of its own conspiracy theories over the years. Quote, It was as if Lady Liberty was looking on as the Twin Towers were destroyed from her star pedestal with 11 points. 11! This one. The Templars exist today, and they are plotting world domination. Conspiracists claim that even though, after the Knights disbanded actually in 1312, the Freemasons were born out of the remains sometime in the 1700s. And they are actually pulling the strings on political and media spheres to create a new world order. Others claim that the Knights are actually an occult entity, cartel, and they've joined with the Freemasons, the Illuminati, and Judaism to create this new world order, and thus threatening the hold of Christianity. The theory states that this conglomerate will use mind control through mass media, and here we are, as well as population control over the governments to control the world. Pinky in the brain. True story. Or this one. They murdered JFK and Houdini. I thought JFK faked his assassination to get money for the fake holographic moon, which is the Death Star. Anyway, this theory comes from the video game franchise Assassin's Creed. And it's kind of convoluted, so let's try to figure it out. Apparently, both JFK and Houdini had what's called a piece of Eden, which is said to be a powerful tool of mind control, among other things. The only way to extract it is through assassination. Houdini apparently used his to perform his magic, but nobody really knows what JFK used his for. As the theory goes, JFK was not just killed by Lee Harvey Oswald on November 22nd, 1963. No. It was a cabal put together by, wait for this, the Templars of Oswald. Allegedly, Abraham Zapruder, who filmed the assassination, along with JFK's driver, orchestrated the murder. The story is that the driver actually killed JFK while using a piece of Eden to project a distraction to the grassy knoll. But I thought JFK had the piece of Eden. Did his driver have one too? I thought he faked his assassination. Could we please just have some consistency in conspiracy theories? It'd be great. I guess this new theory makes sense in a video game world, but doesn't really translate well to the real world, at least not to those of us who don't play video games. Here are the cookies. Can't see them real well. Anyway, the first batch I cooked kind of long. I used actual real peanut butter, 100% organic peanut butter, so yeah. My husband had one, said that was really good. I will put the recipe for this in the description box below, and maybe sometime I can get my sister-in-law to come out here. But in the meantime, if you are either in Dickinson, North Dakota, or you ever go to Dickinson, North Dakota, you have to, it's a must, stop by C&K Sweet Shop and Coffee. You will not be disappointed at all. What are your thoughts about this secret society, the Knights Templar? That really wasn't much of a secret. Were they just a bunch of do-gooders helping to protect Christian pilgrims? Or are they in a plot with the Illuminati, the Freemasons, and Judaism to take over the world? Get better hobbies. Got any weird conspiracies or stories or secret societies that you know about that you want me to talk about? Have a recipe you'd like to see me bake in the future? Leave it all in the description box below. As always, until next week, be kind to each other, be compassionate, have a great week. Bye.